About 5 years ago now, my wife was pregnant with our second son. His name's Jeremiah. Our oldest is Josiah. He's now 8. And when she was pregnant, we took Josiah and his cousin to see a zoo where they could see a bunch of different animals. It was awesome. I mean, we went through, it was a drive-through zoo as well. So we were able to take our car and drive through and see tigers and alligators and all sorts of stuff. It was great. And at one of the exhibits, it was the tiger exhibit, the kids got out of the car and started to run towards the fence, and there was a tiger like right next to the fence. And so my wife, Lashi, she got scared, and so she tried to get out of the car quickly, and when she did, she stumbled and fell on her stomach. She was probably at this point maybe 6-7 months pregnant. She fell directly on her stomach. It scared us to death because we had no idea what happened to the baby. Her knee got scratched up, Lashi was hurt. She was so scared about the baby. And so we immediately went to the hospital to try to see if, what happened. And the whole way I was praying and asking God to protect our son and to protect the baby inside of my wife's stomach and to protect her. And there were some Christians there with us, and they were trying to be helpful, but what they kept saying is, oh, don't worry, God is good, so your baby's fine. God is good, so your baby's fine. God is good, God is good. And I know they were trying to be helpful, but what I couldn't help but think was, what if my baby's not okay? Does that mean God isn't good? Because you see how they said it was, God is good, so your baby is okay. And so if that's true, then the opposite is also true then, right? I mean, if my baby's not okay, then does that mean God isn't good and he didn't protect my child? By the grace of God that day, my son was fine. And like I said, he's 5 years old now. He's okay. But I came away from that event feeling like the answers we try to give people as Christians just really aren't adequate. Because for every time that there's a story like mine where my son is okay, there's hundreds more where the child is not okay, or the disease doesn't go away, or they're not healed, or the marriage doesn't get saved, or whatever the story may be. But brokenness is in this world. And here's what I know, that if my son was okay, God is good. If my son wasn't okay, God is still good. He created this world in an amazing, perfect way with no brokenness. And then we walked away from his plan for our lives and brought brokenness into the world. I mean, death is real, sickness is real, disease is real. But what I know is that above it all, that God will use it, whatever it is, good or bad, in order to produce more good in our lives. And I know that sounds like another easy answer to the problem of suffering and evil in the world, but there comes a time where as Christians, we can't just offer these little, pithy statements that make things seem okay when things are not really okay. Sometimes the best thing to do is just sit with somebody, pray for them, talk to them, love them through some of the most difficult times of their lives. It reminds me of the book of Job, right? I mean, Job sacrificed for his children every single week, for their protection, for their guidance, for everything that was going good in their lives. Job had tons of land, he had tons of servants, he had everything in this world that someone could get. And then one day he lost it all. A tornado came through, a great wind, the Bible called it, and the house that all of his children were in fell down and killed all of them. They were all adult kids. Some of them married. Enemies came and killed all of his servants and burnt his crops and killed his oxen. He literally only had a few servants left, and his wife was there. And at the end of all of that, Job's answer was not, God is not good, God is horrible, how could God allow something like this to happen? Job's response to God was this: the Lord gives and the Lord takes away, but no matter what, I will bless his name. Because he is good, and he is all powerful, and he is all great, and he is the God that created us all and gave his life for us. on this side of the cross, let me just encourage you today. If you ever doubt the love of God, just look to the cross. If you're going through a difficult time right now or brokenness in your life or your family, don't look for easy statements. Look to the cross. You see, on that cross that day, God proved his love for us forever. When he gave his only son for us, and Jesus offered himself as a sacrifice for all of our brokenness, so that one day, all of it could be redeemed. All of it could be made better. Because there is coming a day, and this is what gets me excited, okay? First, before I get to that part, does God cause suffering, or does God, let it happen, or what? Listen, I'm not God, and I don't know, and none of us do. None of us humans have the answer to something like that. But what I do know is this: God will use everything. And there is coming a day where all of it will be made good again. Jesus promises that he's going to come back, and when he comes back, all death will be destroyed. No more death, no more cancer, no more disease, no more AIDS, no more hunger, no more tears, no more pain in our lives, no more divorce, no more rape and murder. All the stuff that destroys our countries, all the stuff that destroys our families, Jesus is going to come and heal it all again. And it's that day that I'm looking for. And until that day, let's not just try to give easy answers to all these difficult questions that come up, but instead, let's begin to show love to everybody that we possibly can. Let's stand with them in the midst of their difficulty and suffering. Let's point them to the God who's given everything for us and loves us even in good times and in bad times. And may we have faith in him even when the world looks dark, even when we feel alone. May we have faith that yes, in good times, God is good. In bad times, God is good. His love is great. His mercy is amazing. And his forgiveness covers us every single day. And so no matter what's going on in your life, keep your head up. Look to the God who does love you, even when it's hard to feel it. And know that whether the report is good or bad, that God is good. And he is with you. And when you cry, he cries. And when you are hurting, he holds you. And when you are broken, he heals you. And when you are down and alone, he is with you. So hopefully this will bring you some encouragement today. The God who's given everything for us is loving you. He's with you. He's holding you. And he is good.